Hey, what is up everyone? Kieran here, bringing you another video, and I know I said I was going to be making some Archeage content, so, you know what, I decided the first one that I kind of want to do, as well as I'm going to be uploading, random, pirating and just overall PvP, overall I'm really enjoying Archeage, and I wanted to make sure that if people are stepping into the game, that, they know kind of how the class system works, as well as some of the more standard classes. So, in Archeage, right, here, I'll actually talk to the skill manager. You can see 10 different classes that are going to be available right here. With each class, you have an entirely different set of skill tree, as well as passives to go along with that. And with these, you can clearly see the amount of variation you can have, because each class consists of a combination of 3 different skill sets. One of the most common for an archer type is called a primeval. Whenever you select those 3 classes, or those 3 trees, they'll actually give you a class name, and so you have everything ranging from a tanky damage, or like a tanky sork damage type. You have ranged, like people who can hold aggro and whatnot. You have guys wearing plate armor with massive amounts of health and just a retarded amount of CC. But I've always been a fan of this kind of style. So as you can see, primeval, and I put only a select number of skills into my archery tree. You see I have 11 points in the archery, but then I got every single one of the passives, boosting up like the overall marksman style. Then you look at my Oromancy. Oromancy is a tree that has a lot of there is some damage benefit to it, but it's more like your survival PvP tree, with things like this conversion shield, which makes magic damage taken restore health back to you. This is a lot like a PvP trinket, almost from World of Warcraft or whatever it may be. Just a bunch of things along these lines. A health lift, which is 30-minute health increase buff, as well as a blink. This is kind of your all-around. A lot of people like to have this for PvP. Shadowplay is your typical stealth class, and combining with all of these, I have things that increase my overall damage on a target for a duration. Which, another thing about this game and their classes is that if you look down here, you see how marked targets are tripped, inflicts an additional 77% on marked targets. So melding all of these classes together, you look at these combo effects, which can work across everything, and that's how you typically combo people, because in this game, PvP is very one-shot oriented. So, to kind of go over some of the main classes that a lot of people enjoy playing, if you're a healer, you want to go with any combination of Songcraft, which is very supporty. Vitalism is your straight up healing, and then you see some people run with Oromancy. You see some people run with Witchcraft. Witchcraft is a very heavy CC oriented. Think of Witchcraft as almost like a Mystic in Terra, which gives you several abilities to kind of CC the target, fears, sleeps, everything like that. Battle Rage is going to be your standard warrior. Charge on in, deal a bunch of damage, two-hander, plate, which you can do this with leather, you could do this with cloth, whatever you want to do, but typically you go with high strength and deal a lot of damage. Defense, a lot of the skills are centered around having a shield. There are some offensive abilities, but a lot of them are mainly focused on stuns, holding aggro and things like that. But a lot of players like to play with defense, because it does, if you play with a shield, it gives you a lot of defensive boost, and so you'll see a lot of people running that defense tree as well. Oromancy, we already talked about that. Occultism is almost like your warlock, or actually, I'll just switch over to occultism, because this is very interesting. And as you can see, I'm now a Shade Hunter, because I chose a different class tree. with this 3 different combination. So, occultism is really interesting because it has a lot of. It is a damage over time for the most part. You know, you have something like Absorb Life Force, which is going to be, you know, you're going to be casting that and dealing equal amount or damage over time and healing you. Crippling Mire, you're going to slow the guy and deal damage over time. But then the thing that I really like about this tree in general is the passives on these. So what you can do is there are some people who play a really tanky class and they'll go defense vitalism or something. So they can heal themselves, they can tank a bunch of damage, and then they'll go into the occultism tree. The reason why is if you look at some of these, upon receiving damage increases your magical attack plus 15% for 7 seconds, stacking 5 times. Think about how much that actually stacks. That can be an insane amount of damage if you're standing still. Increases magical critical strike damage of 50% for 6 seconds after receiving critical damage. These kinds of things allow them to essentially go in, pop, these instant casts which deal a bunch of damage over time or whatever it may be, and then be dealing massive amounts of damage. Pop Retribution, 30-second cooldown for 10 seconds, you return 50%. So you can essentially be this thorn damage over time tank with like the occultism tree. Let's see. Let's go ahead and skill. Okay. Sorcery, classic sorcery. Everything you want to cast has a lot of high damage, long cast period, nukes. Once again, Songcraft is very supporty. You have your heals, you have some stuns, you have speed ups, everything that you would expect out of a fairly support tree. Some people killing each other in the background, or dueling rather. Vitalism, standard healing. So across all of these different kinds of specs, right, you're going to be focusing on picking the 3 that kind of meld to your playstyle. I kind of went over a brief overview of what each one does. However, there are typical cookie cutter which a lot of people like to play. Like I said, the prime evil is going to be Oromancy, Archery, Shadow Play. Focusing a lot more of your points onto Archery, and then going for Burst and Shadow Play with Survival coming out of Oromancy. Next up, you can go with Battle Rage, Defense, and whether it be Oromancy or Vitalism, gives you, let's see, let me grab the exact class name of all of these. Calculator. Defense, Battle Rage, and Oromancy. So that is called the Abolisher. The Abolisher is a... Let's actually click through all these. No, it won't let me do that. The Abolisher is a very standard tank class. A lot of people want to play it because it has a good bit of damage output, along with the survival that you would want out of basically a tank class. Earlier, I was talking to you about the class which is going to be that tank that I was talking about. Let's see, let's reset this. So you're going to be looking at occultism, you're going to be looking at defense, and then you're going to look at, let's see, a lot of people like to play Shadow Play, which is once again focused more on damage with that kind of pair. Just a card. Skull Knight. So, occultism, defense, Oromancy. With this, you essentially become like an unCCable machine, which is going to just be running around aimlessly, making it to where they essentially cannot die. They cannot die. They have a bunch of damage over time ticking on you, and a lot of people have actually just started playing like the Skull Knight class because it has come to be kind of more popular than a lot of people. Let's see. As far as the leather wearing classes, a lot of people like to roll. So there are several things you can do. If you wanted to go balls to the walls, just I want to try and kill people and have no absolute defense at all. There are people who play Battle Rage, Shadow Play, and what's it called? Archery. This is called a heck, I can't believe I just forgot what exactly the class was. Battle Rage, Archery, Shadow Play, Outrider. The Outrider class essentially has pure offensive capability with no defense involved, but they apply range damage to you through their archery skills, which combo very well into the Battle Rage, which once again the combo system where it's like, oh, he uses this ability, next ability he uses, boom, it's going to trip the target, it's going to stun the target. And then using Shadow Play, once again, you have a little bit of mobility with that to just kind of nuke people down. The Primeval, once again, is going to be your Archery, your Shadow Play, and your Oromancy. And then there are other players which you can run Battle Rage, Shadow Play, as well as Oromancy. This is your typical, if you want to play kind of like a rogue. It's called a Dark Runner. Dark Runners have insane amounts of burst, but they are very squishy. But they're very good at comboing their abilities, however, which can lead into just absolute destruction. If I upload 1v1s in the near future, you'll probably see me go up against a Dark Runner. And if I don't flawlessly play against them, and they get one CC off, one stun, one sleep, whatever it may be off, I'm pretty much going to die because they can one combo you that hard. So I've kind of gone over the plate, I've kind of gone over the leather.
Hello?
Oh,
I gotta press button. Anything?
Channel switched.
Let's switch out of that channel. Alright. So, moving on to the cloth wearers. Cloth is, in this game, you can vary from being a healer, you can vary from being a bursty sorcerer DPS. Sorcery is pretty much a go-to. It's where most of your damage skills are going to be coming from, and it's going to be where a lot of people, it's pretty much where you're going to be comboing most of your abilities as well as nuking from. The main things that you want to kind of consider if you're going into kind of a sorcery tree, outside of healing, you want to look at sorcery. You want to look at witchcraft because that's going to provide you a lot of CC that you're going to need. And then those two are kind of the main things that you're going to be looking for because that's your burst, that's your CC that you need. Outside of that, you can try and go for something like a Spellsinger. A lot of people like Spellsingers because it gives them a stealth, it gives you a stealth mechanic out of the Shadow Play tree. You don't really need to do anything other than, let's say you can use an ability called Stalker's Merc with it. Okay, I'm going to apply this one thing, which is going to make you take 21% more damage. That includes from your casts. And then I'm going to CC you with my Witchcraft tree. You'll have your drop back, you'll have a stun, you'll have even a teleport if you want to roll on the Shadow Step. Spellsinger is a very popular class. Next up, take this one off, is a Dagger Spell. Dagger Spell is probably the most popular caster type. And what Dagger Spell is, it's going to be your sorcery, it's going to be your witchcraft, and it's going to be your shadow play. This is going to be pretty much your standard, I'm going to nuke you, heavy CC, heavy burst type of class. Outside of that, people try and mix and match things all the time. You can really play with whatever you want to. You can. I've seen people work with a class called Enigmatist, which they replace that witchcraft with oromancy, giving you a little bit more survival, a little bit more mobility, and you still have that some CC, but it's a little bit harder to pull off. Overall, guys, the classes in this game are kind of up to you. Make whatever classes that you want to. There are cookie cutters, like I kind of explained in this video. However, just experiment. You know, just not too long ago, a lot of people thought that the occultism tank that I was talking about, the like increases damage as I take damage, was a bad class. A lot of people were thinking that, but now you're seeing more and more of them come out into 1v1s, into group PvP especially, which this game is so focused around. So pretty much experiment, guys. There are 10 different classes, and 3 different classes you're going to be playing with every single spec, not to mention the amount of skills you're going to be getting. And this is only going to increase in the near future, since we're going to be getting level 55 and a new skill soon. Alright guys, hopefully y'all enjoyed the video. I know this wasn't very well edited or anything like that, but I wanted to get another video out because I did say I was going to make some Archeage content. In the comments down below, make sure to comment and tell me what you want to know, about Archeage. I'm still learning stuff every single day. I've been 50 for a while. I've been pirating a lot. So yes, I'm one of those scumbags who's going to steal your trade packs. But overall, it's a pretty fun game. And yeah, make sure to leave a comment, guys. Make sure to follow or click the like button if you don't mind. Follow me on Twitter @Killrian. Updates anytime I start streaming or upload a YouTube video. Once again, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Peace out.